Welcome back to this morning's edition of Morning Live, where we're focusing in on the matric results which were released last night. Now, a disrupted year of schooling in the northern areas of Port Elizabeth last year has had a negative impact on the matrics from the area. Nearly all the schools were closed for 2 weeks as parents protested against the lack of teachers in some schools and infrastructure problems. Now, the results released by the Department of Basic Education revealed that areas where violent protests took place, the schools also suffered. We cross over to our reporter in Port Elizabeth, Iviwe Poti, who covered the protests to unpack the story. A very good morning to you, Iviwe.
Good morning, Veylan, and welcome to the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. We're crossing to you live from Hillside High School, which is in the northern areas of the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro.
Iviwe, can you just give us what the reaction was to the announcement last night?
Well, from speaking, to the Northern Areas Education Forum, and we'll speak a bit more right now to Richard Draai, they are a bit disappointed but not surprised with the results that we've come out with. Looking, also at, the worst performing districts as well. The worst 8, the Eastern Cape has about 7. And now we're just going to speak to him in terms of, how has the protest affected matric results maybe in this area, as well as teacher shortage and some of the problems that they've had throughout the year. You will remember that also in 2014, schools were closed in this area. Over 50 schools were closed in this area for over a week, and last year there was a disruption to education for about 2 weeks, where parents, your civil society, pupils, teachers, principals came together saying, enough is enough. They're tired of not having a warm body in front of pupils that are actually in dire need for quality education. So we speak to him just in terms of, what is the situation really like in the classrooms and what are they facing? Good morning, Richard, and how are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Richard, tell us about the situation in the northern areas and over 50 schools being affected by teacher shortages, infrastructure problems, as well as development in this area. How is it affecting the pupil in the classroom and the results at the end of matric?
The effects in the classroom it's dire, if we put it like that, bluntly. It's tragic because we've been fighting to improve the situation for our kids in our schools since 2010. Over the last 5 years, there have been protest actions to address the issue. The Northern Education Forum was established in June 2014. So we've been talking over a year and a half to address the issues affecting our children. And nobody is willing or have the political will to do something about the situation. We are not surprised concerning the issues surrounding the failure rate of our kids in the Eastern Cape. If you look at 2014, we had the same situation where the schools were closed. One parent actually stated that his kid was at Sancto Primary and the child is now in high school. Over a 5-year period, nothing was done about it. So the teacher shortages affects the quality education directly of the child. The non-payment of teachers affect the morale of the teachers. The non-teaching staff not in place at our schools also affects the quality of education because schools cannot function properly. So all these issues is boiling up to a point where you have the situation here where the failure rate is totally unacceptable. We have a Eastern Cape Education Department which is dysfunctional. If you look at 3 months ago, the Education Department appeared before the legislature, the Portfolio Committee in Bishu. The directors made a statement that the best thing to do is close the gates and start afresh somewhere else. I think it's about time that we do that. We are mobilizing our society to get behind us because 2016 looks even gloomer if you look at it, what is currently now.
Richard, in the past 2 years, we've seen the Deputy Minister Iviwe Poti come to the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro to try and resolve the situation. We also saw, not so long ago, a few months ago, the MEC Mandla Makupula, who was here, promising more teachers, saying there are about 120 teachers that are coming from national, that are Afrikaans speaking, that are coming to these schools. Is there any improvement since then, now that we are already in 2016 and a week away from schools reopening?
Deputy Minister Iviwe Poti was here in August 2014. That was the last time we saw him. So I don't know whether he's sick or what's happening with him, but that was the last time we saw him. He promised interventions from his office with people that assist. I don't know, he can answer to that. If we look at 2016, the declaration of 2016 for staff establishment is total chaos for our schools. We will lose teachers. Principals must declare surplus teachers. So if the MEC was stating that they will give more teachers, they destroyed that with the declaration of 2016. We are in dire straits. The MEC stated that our area will lose about 2 teachers. We have one school in our area, Parkside Primary, that will lose 8 teachers. So we are battling. 2016 is a problem. There's a threatening stance from the parents again that they will not accept the declaration and that we'll again with teacher shortages, over full classes. And one thing that's very close to my heart is that we have ELSN learners, special education needs children that's in the mainstream, which is totally unacceptable. So those kids are in the mainstream. They don't have a chance to survive in this world, put it blunt like that. We also have fetal alcohol syndrome children. So all those kids are in the mainstream. So all those issues are building up to where you are currently now, that our failure rate is totally unacceptable.
Thank you so much, Richard, for speaking to us. Well, Valen, the department has also said one of the main problems in this area is finding Afrikaans-speaking teachers that will be able to, make a difference in this community. And it's some of the things that the Department of Education is looking towards. But as we've heard now from Richard, one of the main problems still is teacher shortage infrastructure and the type of quality education that these children are being exposed to. And already schools haven't been reopened, but, SGPs and principals are already foreseeing a problem in the year of 2016. For now, it's back to you in studio.